As night falls on our expedition, the evening chorus starts up from the waterhole. It's spring and love is in the air. What are these toads saying to each other?
Very repetitive.
Yeah. These are natterjacks. And natterjacks, like a lot of toads, have explosive sexual engagements, if you like, when suddenly it's ready, and the male toad will jump on absolutely anything, animal, vegetable or mineral, but hopefully a female toad, but very often it will jump on a male toad and start humping away, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the male toad underneath often doesn't like it, and...
Well, you know, reach around.
And it makes a noise, and that is the noise you hear during the mating season.
There was a boy at my school who used to catch frogs and skin them and let them go.
Oh.
Well, yeah, he let them go. Look on the positive side. Why have you always got to focus on the negative side? He was a humanitarian.
I just said, it's amazing, you could see all their insides.
Just one word comes to my head, Essex. I don't know why.
He says it was a school, it was a Borstal.
Yeah. It's... Oh, that is
Well,
cruel.
he said he did that anyway. So you have to leave a little bit around their eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want to be cruel. So you're saying that the sound that we heard there was a lot of frogs
Don't
going...
bugger me, I'm a bloke.
So I just can't understand the idea that this toad would have evolved and it would have gone, well, OK, when the mating season comes round, just go for your life. Rather than trying to chat a girl up.
It seems extraordinary. Do you know the difference in a frog and a toad?
Spelling. Reading.
Very good. You know, you might as well be right. There's no definitive difference, to be honest. Generally speaking, toads have drier skin and they have drier lives, but essentially there is no real difference.
My dog once, I used to have an Alsatian, and she came to wake me up one morning, which was unusual. Normally she'd wait for me to wake up. She came and she put her head under the duvet and pulled it off me like that. And I said, what are you doing? And she went to the bedroom door and looked at me. And then I got up and went, and she went to the kitchen door, still looking at me, and led me to a water bowl, which is by the back door, and she's looking at it and looking at me. And I looked at it, and there was a frog in it.
That's so sweet.
And it must have come in the back door like the night before, and then just found itself in the kitchen. And then it got in the water bowl and sat there all night with its eyes. This huge dog's head. And he said, I'm going to go and get Alan. This is...
The thing I love about that is the idea of the relationship with you and your dog being on quite a level...
Yeah.
Come and have a look at this, Alan.
We shared a flat. The thing was, I had a walled garden. I don't know how the frogs got in the garden, but they did at the same time every year.
The odd thing you're saying about this, every time this enormous quantity of toads are killed every year on the roads, about 20 tons of toad lose their lives. We're trying to make it less with toad tunnels. Do you know the reason that there's so many die on the road?
They all cross at the same time as mating season.
Yeah, they have ancient mating ponds that they have had for, it seems, hundreds and hundreds of years, and whether there's a road there or not, that's the way they've always gone.
It used to happen in Buckhurst Till, in a pond in Buckhurst Till near the high road, and people would go out with frying pans.
Yeah, and help them
hop
cross.
Into a frying pan, and then you just flip them. Because there are scores of them.
It combines fun with doing good. Yeah. You couldn't ask for better.
It lands on another toad, and it's all done.
Did you hear a very extraordinary story in Hamburg in 2005 about the exploding toads?
Vaguely, yes.
What happened was, toads started exploding during the mating season. More than 1,000 toads, swollen to 3 times their usual size, crawled out of the water, making eerie screeching noises, and blew up, propelling their entrails up to a yard away. People immediately thought, well, it might be a virus or industrial pollution, but it turned out, do you know what it was the cause?
Al-Qaeda.
No.
Suicide toads.
It wasn't.
Suicide toads. They were all fundamentalists and
They'd go into a busy marketplace and splatter everyone with toad entrail. That'll learn you. Toad rights.
It was crows. Crows had discovered how to fly in and, in one swift, efficient movement, remove the liver of the toads. They'd just go straight in and pull out the liver.
Are these ninja crows?
Yeah.
What on earth are you talking about? They come in, they've got their little scalpel ready.
No, they use their beak.
And just, what, in through the mouth?
The birds had worked out how to do that. With a single strike through the chest, they could remove the liver. The toad's defence mechanism did the rest. They puffed themselves up to intimidate their foe, forcing their intestines out of the hole that had been made under high pressure in a kind of fatal hernia.
That's extraordinary. Oh, of course, the other thing about toads is it sometimes does rain toads, doesn't it? That does happen.
It rained fish once in Knighton in Wales. Do you know that? Because what happened was there was like a mini tornado and it just picked a load of fish up out of the river and blew them along and then rained on the town. So that can happen.
Do you know that joke about a librarian who sees this hen come into the library and the hen comes up and says, "Book!" And
it's definitely a hen.
The librarian gives a book and chucks the book under her arm. And the next day the hen comes in and goes, "Book, book, book." And the librarian gives her 3 books. Puts them on her arm, puts away. The next day comes in, book, 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 book. So 5 books. The librarian thinks, this is weird. I've never, ever known of a hen that's this fast at reading. And it's just extraordinary. I've got to find out what's going on. So she grabs her Macintosh and follows the hen out of the library into a house. And so she looks in through the keyhole. And there's the hen sitting on a bed, and there's a frog in the bed with a little thermometer in its mouth and a flannel over it, obviously not very well. And the hen is tending it and offers a book, and each time the frog goes, read it, read it, read it. Anyway, silly joke, but...
I know, okay, what's this?
Yeah?
That's a seagull.
Yeah.
And what's this? That's a seagull coming back from the library.
Very good.
Want to hear my library joke?
Go on.
Man walks into a library,
Yeah.
says, "Fish and chips, please." The librarian says, "This is a library." He says, "Sorry, fish and chips, please."
Excellent. But the reason I mention my particular joke is that actually there's something very odd about this perception we have that frogs go reddit, or ribbit, ribbit. And do you know why it is that all around the world people sort of do jokes or imagine that frogs make this noise? Because there's only one species of frog that actually makes that noise. Do you know where it is?
Is it in Hollywood, California?
Yes, it's the Pacific tree frog. And when sound came to movies and they wanted to start doing soundtracks to everything from Sanders of the River to Tarzan movies and anything that basically was an outside track, they sent their sound recorders out to record frogs, amongst other things, for their archives for sound. And all the frogs, all the way down the coast of the Pacific, sound like ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And they don't in Africa, they don't in Europe, they don't in Central America, they don't in Asia. And so in all American films for about 30 or 40 years, when you would hear this ribbit, ribbit noise, and it became the sound of a frog. But it just happens to be, as you rightly said, 5 points Jimmy Carr in Hollywood, California. Anyway. The most common sound of a toad is get off, because it's the high-pitched croak of protest it makes when a male accidentally mounts it. Now...